everyone, this is Joe Tortonesi coming to you. This is Joe's Drum Shop. If you notice today, I'm actually using double bass or double pedal. Back in the day, before this double kick was invented, double kicks were invented probably early 80s. I ended up getting my first one. They were pretty expensive when they first came out because it was a new idea. So the companies that were putting these together weren't sure about how exactly they were going to do it. And when they did come out with it, they ended up using a lot of material, which made it costly and very costly, about $1,000 for a pedal. So I bought my first one, and it wasn't the greatest. As time perfected, you know, the idea of double pedal instead of having double bass, it got better. Again, like I said, before they had double pedal, if you wanted to play two bass drums, you literally had to have two bass drums. And it wasn't the greatest if you had a band and you're driving through the country and stuff and you have to play. You have to carry those two bass drums around if you don't have roadies. Obviously, roadies are guys that help carry the gear along with you and help you set it up and everything. But if you only have yourself and you're playing in a band and you need two bass drums, you're carrying those two bass drums. And sometimes they don't fit, you know, on the stage that you're on or on the drum riser. So there was a lot of problems with that, and it took up a lot of room. As you can see here on the double pedal, I have two pedals, and each beater is separate on each pedal, and they connect together on one bass drum. So that way, I only have to play right, left on one bass drum instead of having two bass drums. So that was the beauty of it. You can just set up a pedal. You didn't have to have two bass drums, and it was pretty much good to go. And it was, like I said, it got more perfected over the years, and then later on, it just it's one of those things. Everybody started to get one, and they became less costly too. So I would have to say probably nowadays you could probably get one for about $300, a decent one. They make cheaper ones that are around $200 They're not the greatest. I'm not going to give you any brand names, but usually the cheapest ones that are around $200, they end up breaking. You can't adjust them. They're very hard to manipulate sometimes. I've had students where they've brought them in and I've tried to adjust them and there's no adjustments on them at all. So you're kind of stuck with what you've got. But the more expensive ones, they give you more options. They give you adjustments. You can adjust it and make it more comfortable for your liking on your own set. So that's what's happened. So now, like I said, they do still cost around $1,000 for the more expensive ones. In fact, some are even up past that now. But usually a good price range would be anywhere from $350, $400, $500, $600. Around there is a good brand. You know, if you get a decent brand, they're all pretty much the same as far as like the technology and stuff. So it's just what you like. If you happen to have a Pearl drum set, if you want to have Pearl double bass pedal, then you go get a Pearl double bass pedal. If you want Tama and you want the Tama double bass pedal, you can get that. I personally at home now I have a DW set, so I'm using the DW pedals, and those again are pretty expensive. But like I said, it's up to you what you get. It's going to be a little bit more comfortable if you do get something a little bit worth more money. So check that out. But today we're going to start on page 25, and we are still in chapter 6. But we were doing the metal stuff last week, or last show, and we noticed, we played some of the songs, and it was very kind of metalish. And so we're kind of sticking still to that metal, but now we're playing double bass. Now, I never really considered myself a double bass player all the time because I don't play double bass all the time. I use it for when I need it. And for example, if I'm playing some Van Halen or I'm doing some Rush and I need the double pedal, then it's great to have. Or Motley Crue or something that some guys use for double bass. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to learn how to play double bass. the first thing that I had to do to learn it was just like you play the snare drum, right, left, right, left, right, left. You have to do that same thing with the bass drums. Right, left, right, left, right, left. Just your feet. And again, you just push down, making sure your feet are always touching the plate. Never take your foot off the plate. You're just pushing down. Right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left. And you have to learn how to get comfortable by sitting your seat a certain way, sitting on the seat properly, keeping your back straight. It's very important to have these set up so that you can play a double bass comfortably. Okay? So once you get that right-left pattern down, you'll notice the very first exercise is just straight 16ths. I'll play it a little bit faster. It'll start off with the right bass drum first, and it'll go like this. 1E and 2E and 3E and 4E and 1E and 2E and 3E and 4E and Okay, once you've got that down and you understand how that works, the mechanics of it, then we're going to go to the double bass. This is called double basics. And you're going to put a ride cymbal in on quarter notes. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? While that's going on, the snare drum's going to play 2 and 4. So you're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And while that's going, we're going to put the feet going right, left, right, left, right, left. So let's get the feet going first. Then we'll get the quarter note ride cymbal. And then we'll put the snare drum on 2 and 4. 1E and 2E and 3E and 4E and 1E and 2E and 3E and 4E and 1E and 2E and 3E and 4E and 1E and 2E and 3E. All right, pretty easy if you think about it, and you get those things down individually, you can put them together, and it's not too bad of a pattern, okay? All right, I'll play it again a little bit faster so you can hear it. I'll start off with everything together. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, as I first started the pattern, I went into eighth notes on the ride cymbal, and then I went back to the quarter notes, just so you know what I was doing there. So, because you can play them with eighth notes or you can play them with quarter notes. I tend to like the eighth notes because they seem to like make my bass drums lock in better with the ride cymbal. So that's how that works. Now, the next one, we're going to do it again. We're going to do the eighth notes this time, but we're going to put it on the hi-hat. Now, here's the problem. We have 2 legs, 2 feet. I have 3 pedals here. What am I going to do? If I want my hi-hat down, I have this little contraption on the hi-hat. This is called a drop clutch. And how this works is if I push down on the hi-hat, it locks in place and it picks the hi-hat cymbals up. Okay? If I push down on this lever without my foot on, the hi-hat will stay down. This is a very nice thing for a hi-hat to have. You don't get these when you buy a hi-hat stand. They don't come with it. It's something you have to purchase separate. They're around $30 to $40, but it's a really nice thing if you're a double bass player and you want to have this feature. Again, that's called a drop clutch. And again, I just push down on the pedal. The hi-hat comes up when I need it. When I don't need it, I hit this lever and I drop the hi-hat down, and now I can play double bass and I don't have to close the hi-hat, okay? So it's very important to get one of these or actually have another hi-hat. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't have that kind of money to go spend another $400 or $500 on a set of hi-hats and then another $200 for a stand. So you're talking $500, $600, $700 to add another hi-hat over to the side just to keep it closed, you know? So it's important to have this little contraption for 30, 40 bucks. It's a lot easier. Okay, let's hear what it sounds like. This is letter B. The first one I did with the ride cymbal is letter A. We're going to do letter B with the ride or with the hi-hat instead of the ride cymbal, and we're going to play double bass. This is how it's going to sound. So I'll play it nice and slow. We'll get the bass drums going again. This time 8th notes will play, which means that every time I hit my right foot on the bass drum pedal, my right hand is going to hit the hi-hat. Then my snare drum is going to go on 2 and 4. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and all right. Pretty basic. We'll play it a little bit faster so you can hear it, what it sounds like with the hi-hat a little bit faster, and then we're going to go on to a different style double bass pattern. And we're going to come up with that in just a minute here. But let's hear this letter B again a little bit faster. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, let's go down to the next exercise. This is called Feet Don't Fail Me Now. Okay, so we've got 2 exercises here. One is called letter A and the second one's called letter B. The first thing we're going to do, unlike we did now on the last one, notice we did 4 16th notes for every quarter note. So every time I did a quarter note on the ride cymbal, I played 4 bass drums. 1, 2, 3, 4. And the next one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Okay, but this time, we're still in 4/4 time, but instead of playing 4 bass drums, we're only going to play 3, which means that we have to play triplets. Now, quite a few shows ago, I talked about triplets. I'll bring them back. We'll talk about triplets again for a second here. But triplets, all they are in groups of 3. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and okay? All right, so that's how triplets sound. Now let's do that with the bass drums and see what they sound like. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and okay, again in groups of 3. Now the snare drum's still going to play on 2 and 4 because if we count 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and that's where the snare will hit on 2 and 4. The ride cymbal is going to play on quarter notes again, and we'll put this all together. I'm going to start off with the bass drums just like I did in the other exercises. We'll start with the bass drums first to get the feel of it, and then I'll put the ride cymbal and then the snare in, okay? Here we go. All right, as you can see, not too bad. Again, the triplet was going all the time with those bass drums. Da, 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 da. I'll play it again, this time a little bit faster. You can hear what the triplet sounds like. Here we go. All right, next, we're going to do something kind of like Van Halen. Alex Van Halen was the drummer for Van Halen, and when he played, he did a lot of these types of patterns. And what it is, it's kind of a broken kind of a triplet, or a broken kind of a shuffle, they call it. And remember the shuffle pattern, I'll go back because that was on another earlier show as well. This one was actually, if I play it with one bass drum, it sounds like this. So that's the basic shuffle, okay? Now, we're going to do that same thing again, but we're going to break up the shuffle. Instead of going boom, ba boom, ba boom, ba boom, we're going to go two bass drums. Boom, ba boom, ba boom, ba boom. And that's kind of what gives it that little dance kind of a feel to it. That shuffle is a very danceable type of pattern, okay? So I'll play the speed of the bass drums a little bit faster so you can hear. Okay, and then we'll put the snare drum in again on 2 and 4, and then we're going to put the hi-hat in on quarter notes, okay? Here we go. Okay, once again, I'll do it a little bit faster, the way he kind of does it. All right, and that's pretty much what double bass is. You can play it either, straight 16th notes, or you can play it triplets, or you could do a combination of both. There's a lot of famous artists out there that are doing all sorts of different things with double bass now. In fact, they're playing double bass so fast, it's almost humanly impossible to hear it's just amazing what they're doing. I'm not that fast. I never really got into that style of music that much. I like to listen to it, but pretty much that's it. I'm more of a classic rock. I love, Rush and Led Zeppelin, AC/DC, like stuff like that. So I'm not playing double bass that fast. So I mean, if I wanted to really practice it, I could keep it up and probably eventually get something similar. But a lot of these young guys now, they're just playing so fast. It's amazing. If you ever check them out on the internet, it's amazing. Just check out fast double bass, and you'll see a ton of videos about double bass playing faster. All right, we're going to finally move on to page 26. We're going to be talking about, now this is not double bass anymore. This is going to be a whole section about grunge rock. We're talking about Nirvana, Pearl Jam, Soundgarden, around the early 90s to mid 90s. That's when the grunge rock era started. And it was a really important thing when that came out, because it wasn't classic rock, it wasn't metal, wasn't that hair metal. Sometimes, you think of Motley Crue or Poison, they had the big hair. Nirvana come out, they were just heavy, solid, and 3 guys, bass guitar, drums, and just screaming their heads off. It was a whole different style of music. It was all about the about the emotion of the song, you know, and just screaming and just getting that vengeance out, you know, so to speak. So this first one is kind of in the lines of a Nirvana type of song. This is called Chain Link. I'm going to play it, and before we do, I'm going to break some of the song down, but I'll play it for you too here in just a second. The first beat that you're going to do is basically straight eighth notes, and it's going to get kind of a funky snare drum sound. We're going to put the snare on the So it's going to hit on 2, but it's also going to hit on the And as we play that, the bass is going to play around a little bit. It might be on 1, it might be on 3 it might be on 1 and 3. So all sorts of different things. But I'll play the beat for you. Here's what it sounds like slow. Okay. One of the fills that it has in it is going to be this one on the second line, the first measure. It's going to sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2. I'll do that one more time. Ready, go, and pretty easy to do. All right, and then at the very end, it's got a nice little pattern at the end with the snare drum. It's going to sound like this, slow. 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2, 3, and and that's pretty much the song. The rest of it's just the beat. Got a couple fills. Let's check this out, and I'll play along with the song. I'll pull it up here. All right, as you can see, fairly basic. Sounded a lot like kind of like that Nirvana sound, and just kind of taking it easy, just filling in with the groove. Couple little fills here and there, and that's pretty much what grunge was. Nice and hard and heavy. All right, the next one here, I think it could have kind of been around like a Pearl Jam kind of a feel to it. So this is called Just a Slice. It's just a basic pattern. I'll give you some of the basic patterns here. I'll play a little bit. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and 1 and 2, 3 and. All right, so that's kind of the feel of it. One of the tricky fills, though, is in the middle of the song. It's on the third line, the second measure. It's going to go like this. You're going to go snare, then a high tom, then a mid tom, and then a floor tom. So it's going to end up doing a triplet, a 16th note triplet like this. Okay? Later on, as the beat still plays, that kind of beat that I showed you, one of the fills is going to be like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2, 3, 4, and. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2, 3, 4, and. That's on line 4, measure 3. That fill right there. And then I'll do the last line because there's a couple little fills there. And I'll play that through, and then we'll do the whole song. Okay, here it goes. Last line, just a slice. 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2, 3 and 4. And 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 1. All right, let's put that all together, and here's what it sounds like. right, I took a couple of liberties there. I added some crashes and some other little fancy patterns in there, and just to kind of make it a little more interesting. But that's pretty much just a slice. Now, the next one we're going to get into, they call this one, it's on page 27 of your Drums 2 book, and it's called Black Garden. And when I was listening to this one, I was like thinking, Soundgarden, what else? Oh, Black Hole Sun. So they had a song called, Soundgarden had a song called Black Hole Sun. And this sounds very much like that, where there's a 5/4 time signature that happens at the very end of the song. But in the Soundgarden song, it happens pretty much throughout the whole song. But in this song, for the example in this, they do 4/4 for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines. And then the last 3 lines were all in 5/4 time and 4/4 times. It switches back and forth. So when I teach this song, I have a lot of students that have a hard time with it because of the 5/4. Even myself, if I'm not concentrating well enough, you can make some really simple mistakes. And like I said, it's not simple. It's pretty tricky. So you got to watch the 5/4 time. Sometimes I'll see a secondary tom, and I'll think it's a snare drum. So it might be like where I hit the tom, but I should be hitting the snare drum, or vice versa. But let's try this out. Basically, the pattern is like a halftime feel. And it's going to start off like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1. Okay, so it gives you that kind of halftime feel thing going on there. There are some fills on basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, the 6th line. All of these 5/4 and 4/4 fills are going to come into play. One of them, what I noticed on this one here is that the tom should go tom, tom. So a high tom, medium tom, seems like every time during the whole thing. So it's important to remember that it's always going to be a tom, tom, and then some type of ride cymbal or a crash, okay? And then the rest of it fills in. So let's try this out. I'm going to play this one. Hopefully I can play it decent. We'll see how it goes. Okay, well, that's all the time we have for today. Next week, we're going to be getting into, I always say next week. Next show, we're going to be getting into lesson 7. We're going to be looking at the bass player and how the bass player coincides with the drummer and how those two have to lock together to learn how to play together and be a team together when you're in a rock band. So that's coming up on the next show. But until then, you guys take care. This is Joe Tortonesi. You guys keep rocking, keep practicing, and I'll see you on the next show. Take care. Have a good one.